So I've seen this, and it's finally time I make a video on this, because I'm done. I am done with this. Okay, I watched the live stream. I think it's probably gonna be yesterday when this video comes out. I watched the live stream that NASCAR Heat and 704 Games did for their development did for the game, and the game was showed off really well. I thought it looked really good. It looks so much better than last year. It was so much more improved. Physics looks so much better. Because, you used to be able to go through tri-oval with the stability assist turned off. You go through tri-oval, you would just hit somebody, and you just shoot right in the outside wall. Bam, done. Just done. The physics were so ridiculous when you bounce off somebody. And now, you don't do that. Not nearly as much. Now, it still is that a little bit, but they've improved it a lot. So it's not just the you can't even drive next to somebody without spinning out. Another thing they've done, they added 2 more series. There's 3 series of sport, and there's no filler drivers. There's none. They have no filler drivers, no fantasy drivers, nothing. 3 full series worth of drivers. That's impressive. To get all that and put it in the game, that's really impressive. Not only have they just put all that in, but they have made 5 new tracks. They've added dirt racing, something that we wouldn't even imagine could happen for another 5 years possibly. We have one of the most in-depth career modes since NASCAR 08 on the PlayStation 2. It's been nearly 10 years since we had this in-depth of a career mode, this good of a career mode. Maybe NASCAR 09 on the PS3, that was somewhat in-depth, but this is a very in-depth career mode. It even doesn't matter what happens. It's still a very, very good career mode. Next thing, we have split screen now. Now that's not something that is as much of that's not something that is, it's more of a necessity than it is, oh, look at it, because they should have had that in the first game. I will admit that. They should have had that in the first game. Another thing they've added in. What else? They've added in cautions to multiplayer now. 40 car online lobbies. Which they did in the first game and all this. And I'm telling you, they have done so much in 2 years that you Technics couldn't do in 7. Stuff that, what we got from EA, because they started not adding things after 5 or 6 years. EA did, and they slowly were taking stuff out because they got lazy. Now, before I begin, Technics has made our expectations so low they are in the gutter. Okay, they are at the bottom. I don't care what anyone says. They are in the grave 6 feet under. My expectations for this game are, if it runs, it's a good game, okay? That are my expectations, because NASCAR 2011 was terrible. NASCAR Inside Line was alright. 14 was a carbon copy of Inside Line, and 15 was a carbon copy as well. Nothing was improved on. Nothing. They were bare minimum games. Where if you look at this game, we've got an in-depth career mode with 3 series at 27 freaking tracks. And we still complain. Still. We're complaining about the most non-mandatory things. People are complaining about not having offline stats. I understand for a career mode that is a cool thing to look at. But when you have something you haven't had in over 7 freaking years, 7 years, you don't need to complain about something like that. They can add it in the next year, okay? You don't need to go, these people are terrible. I can't handle it. I can't handle it because there's not offline stats. Do you know how easy that is to put in? And I understand the counter argument will be, why didn't they just put it in? They didn't put it in because they were too busy putting in 3 other series. And they still even have stats to an extent. You can look back at the previous standings. You can look at the previous winners of that year. They will probably put stats in an update. If not, and the game's not, it's still a month out. They can put it in stats still, okay? They could still do it, okay? And not only are stats and not only people are complaining about stats, they're complaining about the graphics. The graphics! Yeah, NASCAR 15 probably looked a little bit better than this game. But you know what NASCAR 15 was? It was a gold-plated piece of crap. That game was terrible. 14 was terrible. Okay? NASCAR Heat Evolution wasn't a great game. It wasn't really a good game. It was meh. In a term I like to use a lot, NASCAR Heat Evolution, when they gave it to us, it was like eating a cheese sandwich. You got the base stuff there. You just didn't have anything to do. You know, you bite into it and you're like, okay, this is disgusting, and you just leave it. Where NASCAR Heat 2, they're putting the meat on the sandwich now. They're getting it better. You know, it's not just a bare bone game anymore. And in 2 years, they've done this. In 2 years, they've done more than you technically probably could have done in 25 years. I mean, for the love of God, we have people who actually care about development now, who actually want to do it. And you're worried about offline stats and how the graphics don't look super great. Come on. Like, just come on. You know? I mean, this is all in the Unity engine, too. Imagine if we were on a decent engine. Imagine if we were on a good engine. This game would be amazing. Alright? Like, we have gone through so much hell with NASCAR games in the last 10 years. After EA sold their license, because 2 or 3 years of them just not giving a crap anymore, they sold the license finally. We went 2 or 3 years on a NASCAR game. Finally, Technics picked it up, and we thought, man, maybe they could do something with it. And they made some terrible games. They made no improvements in those games. They were just, barely a racing game. DMR picks it up. A lot of people say, NASCAR 15 was DMR's first mulligan game. Why was Heat Evolution so bad if it was their second game? You do realize NASCAR 15 had to be released by DMR because that was in their licensing agreement. They had to release it in order for them to get the license. And, NASCAR 15, again, DMR, 704 games, I keep calling them DMR. 704 games. I could tell they didn't really care about 15 because they said they wanted to do a 16 update on it, and they didn't really get around to it for a while, and they finally did. Because they were working their butts off on Heat Evolution, because I'm pretty sure when Heat Evolution was announced they wanted to get it out, they kind of hurried it a little bit. I think that's part of the reason why they didn't have as much stuff in there. But none of that, but they're doing stuff that Technics never did. They're listening to the fan base. They are out there caring about what they're doing. Now I also want to let if DMR ever watches, 704 ever watches, I keep calling him DMR. Apologize, but man, I don't know why I keep doing that. Let me say something about 704, all right? I understand. I'm defending you in this video. I'm saying, give them a chance. They've added a lot in this game. Give Heat 2 a chance. It's only, it's looking to be a really good game. But you need to add on offline stats. As a stats person, I want offline stats. But, in my defense of it though, don't say I'm not buying this game because of offline stats not being in. Because that's stupid. This game is way better than last year. If you spend $60 on Heat Evolution, spend $50 on this game. Okay, it's gonna be a massive improvement. It's worth the $50 this year. I honestly will tell you that. And the physics, I watched some videos. People saying the physics don't look better than last year very much, only a little bit. Did you even watch the live stream? They banged off of people and they didn't wreck. They rode on the apron, and they didn't spin out instantly. That's improvement. I don't know what isn't. Like, God, NASCAR, I mean, the one thing is, another thing is you gotta dim down the smoke, DMR. Well, God, 704, you gotta dim down the smoke. That's, it's a lot. That's quite a bit. Also, the game is a little bit, the game still looks kind of easy a little bit. Like, maybe tone it up a little bit harder, make it a little bit more difficult. But, I mean, people, give 704, give this game a chance. Like, Heat Evolution, I mean, I thought last year you got to give Heat Evolution a chance. But, my expectations were low, and I got what I was expecting. Because, unlike 95% of the people who criticize that game and say it's the worst game in the world, I actually watched the gameplay footage and knew what I was expecting. I knew the physics engine sucked. I frickin' knew it. Because if you watched any gameplay from that frickin' game on the Twitch channel, it looked horrible. That's what I don't get about people. People who covered it and then they're like, wow, the biggest disappointment ever. This game was terrible. Did you watch any gameplay from it? Holy smokes. And then not only that, but then they complain about other things in the game. They complain about the career mode not having anything to it. You watched the live stream, you would have known the career mode had nothing to it. I knew that. They showed off the game like 30 times before they freaking released it last year. If you really cared that much about your money, you would have done a lot more research on it, and you would have known what you would have been expecting. It's just, like I said, people don't understand that when they advertise it's a simulation, blah, 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 they're lying. They're trying to get everyone to purchase it. They're trying to get as many people as they possibly can to purchase it. You cannot be fooled by someone tricking you into buying a game, all right? You can't be fooled. You got to be smarter than that. It's a marketing tactic. Every company does it in the world. They will try and bait you into buying their goods. Now, 704, god damn it. 704, they advertised a simulation. I knew it wasn't a simulation. Crime is alive. It was basically NASCAR Dirt to Daytona, newer and watered down a lot. And it's just people, I'm irritated by people like that. I'm irritated a lot by people like that who think that NASCAR, I think that had their expectations so high for Heat Evolution, then were let down, and they're like, whoa, complaining about it. It's like, if you just watched the live streams, you would have known exactly what you were getting. My expectations were fulfilled because I knew exactly what I was getting. A mediocre arcade racing game. That's what Heat Evolution was. I'm watching this, and my expectations are pretty high compared to Heat Evolution. I see exactly what's going on here. I'm going to watch every single live stream, and I know exactly what I'm going to be purchasing. Be smarter than that, people. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb and not purchase and not do any research on it. Just blindly buy it and just go, oh, this is what I was expecting. I was expecting like an F1 2016 experience. And if you just had watched the live streams, you would know exactly what you're getting. But sometimes people can't be smarter than that, and they had their expectations too high just to be smashed because they're not smart enough to lower their expectations. And there's my rant on people being idiots about NASCAR Evolution. Bye.